talk about was how Reiki has changed my life personally. So personally, I use it on myself 90% of the time for sleep because I have such a hard time in the evening falling asleep because I'm usually running through conversations with either friends or clients or just general things that I'm trying to find a connection with in my purpose, trying to figure out things for myself and reevaluating my beliefs. So doing Reiki at night, I usually do a couple of the traditional hand positions when I do it for myself, but I'll usually only do it on my head because of the weight. So I'll put like a hand over my third eye and my crown, just because the weight really helps me sleep. And the reason why I use that point, because of the pressure, is that's actually the one to get you to go to sleep. So those two things combined have definitely helped me when I have some evenings where I have difficulty going to sleep because I don't like to take anything, pharmaceutical, natural, or otherwise. Let's see, how else has it helped me? Not so much for myself, but in helping other people, it's been very rewarding. Being able to help people either acknowledge or gain some insight about where there may be imbalance in their life, and to provide them that healing. I actually had two experiences in the past week that I wanted to share because this actually has been a really great week, a very random week too. So last night, if anybody saw, I had made a post about an emergency situation. So without going into details, this friend had reached out to me in kind of a panicky state. There was a potentially dangerous situation. It was a very charged situation, and she was fearful of what might happen. So she asked if I could send Reiki to the other person involved in the situation. And sending Reiki to another person without their knowledge is kind of a gray area for me personally. I'm willing to do it, and we're taught not to deny wanting to help or to providing that help. But personally, I do prefer getting permission from the other person, but I don't require it. So I told her that, and I said, I'll go ahead and I'll send it, the healing for this person for you, to kind of hopefully diffuse the situation that you're both in. And when you do it without the person's consent, you put a rider on it. And what that means is you say that may it be for their greatest good. So I did that. And along with a crystal grid that I did for her to kind of ground the energy, because the way that she was describing it was very erratic and kind of dark. So I did a infinity grid, and I did it with smoky quartz and black tourmaline, and I did a distance Reiki treatment for this other person for her. And within the hour, I would say, she said that the situation had calmed down pretty much completely. Her attitude had changed, and so had the other person's. So being able to hear that feedback, especially so rapidly, is very reassuring for a practitioner, because you get to see firsthand, especially working at a distance, that those powers are there, and it reaffirms that belief for you. The other situation, which is kind of a little more freaky, was this morning at 4:22 a.m. I literally jolted awake out of bed, and my husband like freaked out, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "The energy shifted." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I don't know, just something has shifted. Something just caused me to wake up." Caused me to wake up. And I'm just like, well, it's weird. You know, I check my phone. I'm like, well, I was on call last night for a friend who's due, and I told her, you know, if anything happens, you know, my phone's on, give me a call. So I was expecting it to be her, but it wasn't. Checking messages and whatever, I had a couple messages in my inbox. One from a friend that I haven't spoke to in a while, but I thought nothing of it. I'll just read it in the morning. So I try to go back to sleep, but then my nose started bleeding. And I'm like, okay, well, that's very unusual. My nose does not bleed ever. So obviously someone or like something, however you would like to look at that, was trying to get a hold of me, like trying to like wake me up. So I checked my messages again, and that friend that I haven't spoken to in years, she was actually in a very desperate state, and said that she had been basically secretly watching my page, and, you know, sees how I am with my posting, being positive and really wanting to help others. And she basically told me her situation, and the timestamp on the conversation was 2 minutes prior to when I had woken. So I knew that in her desperation, her energy, her thought frequencies, that energy was so concentrated that when it came through into my inbox, that those energies literally shifted me from my subconscious dream state to my conscious waking state. So then, you know, it was like 4 in the morning. I had barely just gotten to sleep, but, you know, I didn't care. You know, like, if someone calls me in the middle of the night, 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna get up and reply to you. Like, I don't care that you're taking away my sleep. It's no inconvenience to me. If you need help, I will be there to help you. So I spent some time. Oh, I know that's what my husband said. He's like, "You're gonna have this happen to you all the time." And I'm like, well, I really doubt it. It's not very often that someone is in that desperate of a state where they need something immediately, like an emergency situation. But if they do, that's fine. I know what my calling is. I've accepted that. But try not to. If you can help it, please wait till like 9 in the morning. But if not, go ahead. If it happens again and I am woken up, I will reply to you. So I spoke to her and talked to her a little bit about what she could do for the next few hours. I never did fall back asleep. I laid there in my kind of sleep-wake state where my mind's just going crazy. But later on I did end up helping her. And that, again, was another really great session. But those are 2 kind of key things that have, especially in the past week, have happened that have reaffirmed the powers of the universe and Reiki to me. Not literally, but like if you're gonna send me a message and it's not an emergency, try and hold up just a little bit. All right, that's up, which means I'm at my hour, and I've actually finished all my notes. So I know a lot of people had to jump off, so I know they're gonna watch it later, so I will get on that. So thank you, Tiana, for staying, because I know that most of this was for you anyway. And if anybody else has questions when you rewatch this, go ahead and either comment, message me privately, or whatever else. And you guys tell me what you want me to talk about next week or in a week or two. I was thinking about talking about crystals or maybe reflexology. It's up to you guys, so just let me know. So, hope you all have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Bye!